And now, Ken and Mike.
And good
Shows you
evening.
how much I know.
Yeah, we're just talking about how encouraging one another. We're encouraging one another right now.
We've looked to the stars.
Yes, we have. To our sign in the stars.
Welcome to the Ken
Yeah.
and Mike Show.
Thank you for tuning
Hey,
in.
we're going to read your horoscopes tonight.
Yes, Mike is going to do that. He just read my palms. Thank you.
Your palms?
Yeah.
Both of them?
I feel great about myself.
Yeah.
According to you, I think I'm going to die soon.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're
Yeah.
callous because you work for a living. Right?
That's what it is. So, by the way,
Welcome to the
yeah.
Ken and Mike Show.
Please
It
share
is
us
our
right now.
second night doing the Thursday
night, yeah,
at
yeah,
8 p.m.
that's right.
Eastern
That's right.
Standard Time. So, yeah, share us right now on all the social media platforms.
Yep.
Call your friends right now. Tell them to tune in on Facebook to the Ken and Mike Show. We're on Twitter.
We are on Instagram.
We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We
YouTube.
are on, like say, Facebook. I'm going to repeat myself. Hey, we're on Facebook.
We are right now.
We're on Chatbox. Or what? No, wait. Cashbox.
Well, Mike is on Chatbox if you
No,
want to get a
what
hold
is-
of him.
What is Chatbox?
I
Is
don't
that-
know.
is
You
that a
tell
thing?
me. Tell me.
I think
You're-
I just made a thing.
No.
What's Chatbox?
Maybe we can make our own box.
Oh, wow.
Christian chat room thing.
Wow. Okay.
Reddit?
Anyway. What is it? Reddit?
Yeah, you never heard of Reddit?
Yeah, I've
Hey,
I've heard of Reddit.
Is the Ken and Mike Show on Snapchat? We want to go that route too? I mean,
We could be.
we could be.
We could be on Snapchat.
We're on all those things. So, Kenny, how was your week?
It was really good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Busy.
Yeah. Anything special happened this
Just
week?
school and stuff. Well, let's see. Daughter was in the ER yesterday. Not ER. Sorry. Urgent care because sand in her eye.
Okay.
Yep. So she's all good. School started last week, so it's been great. You know how it goes. When school starts.
You getting educated?
I'm not. Well, I am. That's right. School started
School.
for me too.
So
Yes.
you're getting educated?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am sort of
You gonna get
when
your-
I have time.
Do you have your diplomatic?
I do. Yes. So how are you?
Good. I have nothing special going on.
Yeah.
Just working. Tired.
working more,
I'm working.
yeah.
I'm tired some more.
Yeah.
I know you know how that goes.
I do.
So
That's life.
one of these nights I'm going to fall asleep live right here on the air, and you're going to record me snore.
All right. Mel, how are you
No,
doing?
how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah?
doing good. I mean, I'm not too happy that sitting next to a Bills fan, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How'd the Broncos do this week?
hey. It's only week one. So,
you're telling me they lost? I actually didn't see the follow-up.
they lost.
Yeah?
They lost.
How bad?
16 to 24.
All right, so it's not a total romp.
No, it's not a total romp. It's a divisional game, but it's only game one.
Yeah.
We'll see how game two goes.
Shout out to all my New York friends. Thank you for giving Buffalo the W against the New Jersey Jets.
Yeah, they must have been waving their flags or praying or whatever they're doing.
The Jets are always horrible.
Well, they are, especially now because they lost a lot of players this week.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So-
I only know one person who likes the Jets.
So do I.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you know who that
I only
person
know
is.
one person who likes the Jets too.
He should just switch.
Even
over.
even his sons switched teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he actually texted me too. He's just like I don't remember what he said, but something. He asked me to do something, but he's like, "It's the least you can do after the whooping you did to my team." So it's like, whooping, you lost by 1 point.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking, oh yeah, they were up 16-0. We came all the way back and beat them 17-16. So.
Well, listen, not to get just all of a sudden serious though, but listen, yesterday was obviously a big day.
Yes.
What I wanted to ask you guys, and I'll start with you. Where were you, and what happened in the moments in your mind and in your heart? What was going on 9/11, 2001? Where was
2001.
Mike Hansen?
It's kind of funny. I worked for a communications company. One of the side businesses, they started off as a television sales store. So we still dealt with an older clientele who still went out to a TV store to buy TVs, as opposed to going to like Kmart, Montgomery
Yeah.
Wards, or whatever
Yeah.
that was. And we were delivering a television to a customer. It was just kind of neat because we're setting the TV up for it, and just as we're turning on the TV, we see a news report that a plane had hit the first tower. At that point, we just thought a plane had hit the tower, or one of the towers, and we're just like, oh, that stinks. And we started talking about, didn't that happen a few years ago with a Cessna had hit the Empire State Building? We thought maybe it was just an accident.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't think anything of it. And then as we're talking, we were there for another half hour or so, and as we're talking to them about setting up their home theater and stuff like that, all of a sudden you're watching live as this plane is coming in to I believe the North Tower at that point. It was the South Tower that got hit first, right?
I think so.
And we watched that, and immediately this guy, Jesse, and I that we're working with, we literally turned to each other. We're under attack. That was the first assessment we made, because it happened once, came in the second time. And I just remember after that being numb.
Mm-hmm.
Being numb. I remember we could not finish work. We were still working, but we really couldn't concentrate on work for the rest of the day. We went back to our shop, and we had all TVs in the showroom. So we're all just sitting there staring, just watching the TVs. I mean, I feel bad for our employers because they were paying us, and we're just sitting there staring at we're not getting anything accomplished now at this point. All we're thinking about is we're under attack. What do we do? And then we start just talking about what's going on.
Yeah, and what you would do.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's like, how bad is this going to get? And then you start hearing about the Pennsylvania flight and all
Pentagon.
that. Pentagon. And you're just like, oh, wow. And then hearing about the story of the other plane going down in the field. And
It was crazy.
It was chaos. And I just know,
because it's never happened
my heart
on
sunk.
our soil.
Yeah.
And that's what you don't know. You don't you hear what's happening, and you go, okay, how close is it? Is it just there? Is there more happening?
So tell me,
Yeah.
wow, check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
new
you
sound.
didn't like we were talking about?
No, it's a new sound. And
So can you tell me, where were you?
I was
What
actually
happened?
taking a class or two at Co Green
Oh, okay.
back at the time, and I was I didn't know a mutual
I thought
person
you were
that we
younger
know.
than that.
Yeah, Justin, Mr. Jolly.
Yes.
Actually, he was at school too. We were just getting to know each other. We didn't really know each other yet. And I was coming out of a classroom, and he goes, "Hey, dude, did you see the plane just hit a tower in New York?" I was like, "Huh?" And I went back. I was living with my brother-in-law and sister at the time, Chris and
Right.
Tara. So I get home, and it was my home at the time, and I turn the TV on immediately, and that's boom, next plane. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" And I was getting ready to go to work too, because I was working at the health food store at the time. So because it was a morning class, so I was just like, I can't. This is crazy. And then of course, same thing as you. I think it's that man thing in me. Okay, what I would do right now, type of thing.
Right.
To get prepare. What is this? What is this? Like, what in the world? So I go to the health food store, and then of course there was a girl there who was actually crying because she's like, I can't believe this is actually happening. And it was just an emotional time for a lot of people.
Did this happen to you during that time? I remember specifically thinking, "Is this it?"
Yeah. Right.
I mean, maybe because it was in the heat of the moment, and of course, obviously, all senses are now heightened and all that stuff. I was thinking, "Is this where it all begins? Is this it? Is it now?"
Yeah. Is this a big war?
Yeah. I briefly was thinking, "Is this going to be the one that ends all?
Yeah.
Is this the big one?" I mean, obviously, it was irrational thought.
Sure.
I mean, that's what I was thinking for a short amount of
I
time.
will say, any thoughts that I had at the time where I felt like were compared to the people that were right there, were pathetic.
Oh,
for me.
absolutely. Looking back
Yeah.
at it now, yeah, absolutely.
But they were legit because I think we all do that. Like, oh my gosh, like what is this? Like,
Right.
And it is close to home. It's not like in some other state. It was here.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and it's sad to say whether America's attacked at all,
Yeah.
or not. I take offense to it because it's the
Absolutely.
country I love.
You got it.
But the fact that it was happened right here in New York. I mean, 2.5 hours from us, like an extreme. I mean, less than that, probably 2 hours from here, right?
Depends on
Yeah.
traffic. Yeah.
But it was that close. I mean,
Yeah.
would I had been as heightened emotionally if it happened in Los Angeles? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
But I think that it happened right in our own backyard.
Exactly.
well, even to go further than that, it happened on the East Coast,
Yeah.
D.C.,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Right.
So
All of that
as
surrounding
we are,
us, yes.
as close as we
Yeah.
are to the East Coast, we are on the East Coast. It wasn't just one incident that happened. It was
Right.
multiple ones,
Yeah.
and I think that brought more of awareness versus just the towers getting hit.
I wasn't going to go here, but I wasn't even thinking about it. I just thought of it just now. Right after it happened, all the heightened security, everything got locked down. I mean, it's just the natural occurrence of human beings. We lock down now because something happened, but then the natural course of life happens, and we start to wane off of it. Are we in a position where that could happen?
You mean are we vulnerable? Again?
Are we vulnerable again?
I don't know. I mean,
We've put some things in.
I don't think in the same exact way because
Yeah.
since then we've tightened up security.
yeah.
We've
security and
made-
militarily, I don't think so. But I think in our hearts, maybe I think there's a lot of people like we've talked about have forgotten, like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
in that sense,
Well, it's
emotionally.
18 years, so you think
Yeah.
now the technology we have now, they could do things through the internet and not have to necessarily do things into that extreme. At that time, cell phones were barely new. So
I think they wanted to cripple us so they can make a mark. I mean, yeah, they could do things and corrupt us financially.
well, I'm saying as far as their strategy, it would
Right.
be different. You know, as a
let's
saying,
face it,
with thieves,
they were looking for loss of life.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Well, ultimately, yeah.
are we? I always think,
There's always something going on behind the scenes that we don't see either.
Right.
Still to this day, we have all these theories of like, what were the ties to that? Like, what was the real meaning to that? Like, you know what I mean? Like what we're trying to allude to right now. Like, what was it? Like, we're trying to come up with something, and like you said, I think it is the fact that they wanted the loss of life was on the table, of course, and make a big impact, and that was a big impact. And honestly, that's kind of like the only way they could do it that big.
Well, we were attacked because of what America stands for.
Absolutely.
I mean, we are the last free, real, legitimately free nation in the world. I mean, we can argue to what extreme we're free.
Yes.
I mean, we politically and
Militarily.
Politically and our own agendas per se and our
Yes.
own viewpoints. We could say we're limited as far as our freedoms and stuff like that, and our own conspiracies and stuff
Sure.
like that. But as far as the world goes, we stand for prosperity. We stand for individual freedom.
Yeah.
Innovation.
Technology. And I mean, I'm not saying other countries don't offer that. I'm not trying to downplay any other countries. But this country alone, and for what we've done for fellow man and other nations, believe it or not, there are people out there that do not like this, like us, simply because of that. Now, I know there's certain people online that I have spoken to that argue, well, America did this and all that stuff. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
I'm not going about what conspiracy theories there are, what things happen behind the scenes that precipitated this. I'm not going there. I'm going just to the simple fact that we were attacked because of who we are and because of what we stand for. That is the only thing. And then, when I made a post on social media the other day, I said something. I just put a picture of one of the towers with the smoke coming off of it, and just said simply, "I'll never forget." Unfortunately, I believe some have. And then all of a sudden, one person in particular pipes up. Hijacks the post per se, and says, "Well, what exactly will you never forget?" And there was just a whole connotation there.
Exactly.
And it went on this whole litany of thing and attacking people, and they're getting people against each other. That wasn't the point of my post. My point of my post was I won't forget the heart wrench and terror and pain that I felt this nation that I love, that I felt
And that person
day
did too, but
came under attack.
Yeah.
The country I love. Whatever precipitated it, I'm not getting into that. That's a whole nother conversation.
Talk about the lives
I was
that are
talking
lost.
about 9/11 just that day, and then never forgetting the unity and what transpired after 9/11.
Exactly.
Like 9/12, 9/13.
felt like a real
9/14.
community again.
Oh my gosh! Do you remember seeing the flags hanging off the people's windows as they're
Yes.
driving?
And the
stuff like
president
that?
had a lot
Yeah.
to do with that. At the time, President Bush did an excellent job, in my opinion.
Gosh, he did an incredible,
Yes.
incredible job.
So, yeah. So listen. By the way, since Greg and those guys are listening right now, thank you so much for joining the Ken and Mike Show. And
Yes.
want to make sure that you guys know that we are doing a little thing. If you want to get a free mug,
Yes,
we're gonna be
yes.
having
doing,
coffee mugs soon.
We're doing the mug contest.
and listen, if you're hot for Ken, don't
Hot with Ken.
Yeah,
not
hot,
for.
hot with.
No,
Ken.
he's taking his hot for Ken.
Don't listen. God, don't be shy.
See, he's touching me.
Don't be
You see,
shy.
he's touching me.
Just go
he's
ahead
really
and mark
hot
that
for
one.
Mike. But it's
Let me fill your coffee cup.
Are you full? Are you full with Mike or full of Mike? What was the hashtag? On
Mike
that?
is full of Mike. I'll tell you.
full with Mike.
Full with Mike
Full with Mike.
and hot with Ken.
And we do thank you. And by the way, this show is 50. This show is sponsored by
Yes.
an incredible organization. They're a business, and they are Tri-Oak Builders. You can go to their website, trioakbuilders.com, or call them at 518-267-3288.
Have you said it enough now that you memorized it?
Pretty much. I still look at the paper.
You
once
still
in a
look at
while.
look at the
Yeah,
prompt every
I
once
do.
in a while.
Yeah. Hey, I want to tell you guys something.
But wait,
too,
wait.
after-
What are they into?
Yeah.
What
They do kitchen.
Tell us more about
They
them.
do bathrooms. They do tile work, and not only do they just do it, they do an excellent job of it. And Preston, I just think he just got they got a cool vehicle now. They're going kind of mobile. I think he got like a box truck or something like that. These guys are they're growing. They're all about growing relationships as well. And you want to give Preston a call. He wants to build a relationship with you and give you
And he also wants to
excellent
build your
price, by the
bathroom
way.
and build your
He
kitchen.
sure does. And by the way, before we get into something, speaking of 9/11, you're telling these amazing things about heroism as well. We got to talk about that. There's one story here on September 11th, 2001. 24-year-old Wells Crowther was working on the 104th floor. I mean, you guys can look this up, of course, too, but it's just incredible. He was on the South Tower of the World Trade Center when United Airlines Flight 175 struck the building.
Yep.
He sent his mother a voicemail saying he was okay, and he was never heard from again. But months later, after Wells' body was discovered alongside those of several FDNY firefighters and emergency workers in the lobby of the South Tower, his mother read an article detailing a few survivors, harrowing tales of escape before the tower collapsed. One heroic man was mentioned several times, a young office worker wearing a red bandana over his mouth who helped escort dozens of people to safety. Mrs. Crowther, whose son had worn a red bandana under his high school hockey helmet, his college lacrosse helmet, and in the pocket of his suit every day, knew that she was reading about her son. It was later discovered that Wells saved as many as 18 people that day.
Wow.
He had led multiple groups of people, some of whom he carried on his back, down the stairwell to safety before heading back up to rescue more. When first responders arrived, he worked alongside of them until the South Tower collapsed at 9:59 a.m.
Wow.
That's incredible. I mean, some people
There were so many heroes that became heroes out of nowhere on 9/11.
Yeah.
That they got this internal strength and this internal fortitude, if you will, that was purely supernatural.
Absolutely.
Purely supernatural. I mean, I would like to say that I would respond in the same way.
Right.
Had I been in that situation, I mean, we'll never know until you're actually in that
Exactly.
situation. And I think I give a disservice to people who were involved in 9/11 because I wasn't there, and I personally don't know anybody that was directly involved. I know people that tell me stories, but you always question that because that the whole stolen valor thing,
Yeah.
kind of type
Yeah.
of deal. Where they want to make themselves feel good, saying that well, I know so and so who. I don't know. I'll be straight up honest. I don't know anybody that was directly involved.
Yeah.
I've heard stories,
Right.
and I've heard, and we've all heard stories, and I don't personally know what it would be like to go through that.
Yeah. One cool thing is our own president, who was obviously there. He out of his
They
own
say
pocket.
he wasn't there, and they say he was there, and there's that whole thing.
Well,
too.
I've heard.
Sure, Matt can tune in and tell us.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that he out of his own pocket paid for his workers to go
Yeah,
and help.
I saw that.
help
I saw that.
recover bodies. I mean, look at. He didn't have to do that. You
No.
know. I mean, that's our president now. So I mean, that to me says a lot. Right.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking. I mean, Trump aside, you had mentioned it earlier. I still can't get over how well George Bush responded to that.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, and he was so demonized as a president when he was president. I don't care how you felt about him.
Well, he was right there on the rubble with the
and
firefighters.
just the way he
his-
spoke
yeah.
to the first responders, the way he met the first responders, how he was right there, right as it happened. And he gets criticized because I guess he was reading to
He was reading at school.
he was reading to school age children when it first happened, and someone whispered in his ear
Yeah,
what
I
was
remember
going
this, yeah.
on, and he didn't flinch.
Yeah.
He continued to the matter at hand.
Yep.
Didn't overreact. I mean, really, what can you do?
Right.
I mean, there's nothing you can do at that moment.
That's called somebody who has some I don't know, fortitude or for some understanding that he's with little kids. He has
Yeah.
to keep everybody calm.
Right, and then
And he has a
immediately-
nation to run to keep calm as well.
Immediately, people were attacking him because of that response. I mean, what do you want him to jump up and scream right in the middle of it? Holy beep, we're under attack, and
Right.
no,
I'm with school kids right now, and I want to keep the nation safe.
Let me finish this.
Yes.
And I'm sure he rushed through
Of
it.
course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting there. He sat there. Oh, okay. Hey, but we have this book over here. Let's read about my old Mother Hubbard. Oh, wait. Mother Goose, get that book. I'm
Right.
sure he wasn't doing that.
Well, at the time, he didn't have a whole lot of information. So what they expected him to do, give a presidential, conference of
Right.
of what's going on. He's finding out information as it's coming, and he's taking care of business. And he's
Yeah.
he's not reacting. He's just responding and saying, "Okay, let's wait for more information.
Now-
When I'm done, we'll address."
Right. Now let's go down.
Well, let me give you one more good story.
Okay, go ahead.
A very quick one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just because these are awesome. And everybody knows this one. His tombstone says, "Let's roll." Actually, you know who? I think it was DC Talk. Toby Mac made a song, "Let's Roll." I think it had to do.
I don't know, because that got saved in 2000.
Maybe that was. No, I think that's when he came up with that song. Dina Burnett, wife of Tom Burnett, passenger, United Flight 93. You guys remember this?
Yep.
It was silent, and I could feel my heart racing. On the phone with me, Tom said, "We're waiting until we're over a rural area. We're going to take back the airplane." I became very frightened, and I begged, No, Tom, just sit down, be still, be quiet, and don't draw attention to yourself." He said, "No, Dina. If they're going to crash this plane, we're going to have to do something." I asked, "What about the authorities?" He said, "We can't wait for the authorities. I don't know what they can do anyway. It's up to us," he said. "I think we can do it." Neither of us said anything for a few seconds. Then I said, "What do you want me to do?" "What can I do?" "Pray, Dina. Just pray." "I'm praying. I love you," Tom said. "Don't worry. We're going to do something." Then he hung up. He never called back.
And what
I mean,
that gives me chills just listening to it. And it's pure speculation, but I think it's accurate speculation. Those brave people that took over, that charged the cockpit and took over the airplane, or attempted to anyway. I think it's safe to say they saved other lives.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, maybe they may not have made their destination. Maybe they may not have been accurate of whatever they were going to fly into.
Right.
I think it was intended for the White House, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. They said
Because I know the one was
or
Pentagon, and
yeah.
that one in
Pentagon was
Pennsylvania.
hit, but the other one was heading through Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it was going to head to. I thought it was heading to the White House.
What did the Pentagon one do? It didn't really do much, did it?
Well,
It damaged a part of, I think, the East
Right.
Wing or whatever
Okay.
it was, and that's pretty much it. It was empty.
Whatever it may be,
Yeah.
but I honor those men and women that were on that plane in the fact that I think it's fair speculation that they saved lives by sacrificing theirs.
Agreed.
We'll never know. We'll know when
Yeah.
we leave here.
Yeah. Yep.
But I give them a lot of respect. And,
Yeah.
And these are things where these are the things that we remember.
Yeah.
And to keep talking about it is a way to honor them, that we remember, that it doesn't go by the way of just another tragedy that happened in America.
Some people did something.
Yeah, some people did something.
Well, the problem is too at that time. I mean, now looking back, so many people say, "Oh, we're just those people who just want to have a war, want to have a fight," But it was really no. We were standing up and saying, "I don't think so." It's called coming together and defending. The same thing that I would do. We talk about this a lot on the show because we're all family men here. I would do the same things for my family. You ain't
Yeah.
gonna mess with my family.
Nope.
And we looked at each other that day, and for a while after that, at least.
I don't care if you're bigger than me. I'll
Yeah.
go down bleeding for my family.
Right.
Whatever.
You got it. And we did that for our family as a national family, So I mean, that's
So let's
Yeah.
talk about
what.
let's
What?
talk about the days after 9/11.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't count how many times going out to the, whether it be Walmart, ShopRite, what the heck happened to my voice there? The gas station. I just felt like I was from Alabama.
Hi, Sam.
What's up, Sam? Just everybody saying hello. Everybody holding
Yeah.
the door. Everybody, how are you?
Yeah.
How you dealing with this? Perfect strangers.
American flags even painted on places. Just boom.
On windows. You know that
Yeah.
one that's offensive now to everybody.
That flag.
Yeah.
You mean this one right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The one that's offensive to
I hope it
everybody.
is offensive to those who are
But
offended by it.
just the outpouring of love. No one cared about color then.
Yeah.
It wasn't a white black thing then. It wasn't now granted there was, I will say, unwarranted. Anybody saw somebody from the Middle East after that day?
A little hostile.
They were a little hostile. I mean, it probably wasn't good to go out in a turban on 9/12. I'll be
Or
honest.
to the airport.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know, and
It was scary.
It was, and then, I'm not going to say rightfully so, but understandably so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, I think even me, if I was Arab, if I was American, and there was an attack that for some reason we got stupid and we attacked somebody just because we didn't like them, like we would never do that. But you know, another nation, and I happen to be living in that nation. You know what? I think I go. You know what? I'm gonna stay inside for a while now.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely,
so,
yeah, yep.
I mean, I'm not, and I can't blame the people of this country looking at me cross-eyed. I can't blame them. But here in America, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I mean, I jumped on the bandwagon and I bought those plastic flags and I hung them on the side of my car and I drove like down that road like, you know, I was the bee's knees with the, you know, the American flag. I mean, because the unity, everybody. I didn't care who you are. You were saying hello to everybody, people that you normally would, you know, look at sideways. You all right today?
Yeah.
You need anything?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw people having conversations that you would never see together.
Right. Yeah.
It was beautiful. And why can't we remember that? And that's when we post up those things saying, I remember.
Well, you know what's sad?
I'll
is
never forget.
That happens in families sometimes. There's families that are just they're not together anymore. Then there's a death. Next, you know, they're all back again, and then eventually it kind of slips again.
Right. Why does it always take a tragedy to bring us
That's
together?
what I'm saying. That's what happened, kind of on a bigger scale.
Right.
And then eventually, kind of just everything feels better again. I think we individually do that in a smaller scale in our own lives, where we, you know, something, you know, it doesn't have to be a huge tragedy, but something happens. We get back on track, and I'm going to stay on track. Sometimes that's with God. We do that too.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, time slips away, and we feel better, so we can just chill out again.
Yeah, well,
So that's a
something
great point.
happens
I was
again.
going to say it's
we don't
I think
need
it's a part
God
of
in the
us.
mountaintop experiences,
Yeah.
right?
no, I
Right.
think it's a human element. If you think back throughout history, every time that God's people shrinked away or made, you know, golden calf or whatever,
The food got old. falling
something
from the
happened.
Sky.
You know, something happened.
Yeah.
A tragedy happened to bring God's people back to Him. I'm not saying that this is one of those times, but I think it's a natural human element that we ascend to a place where we say, okay, God, we're fine, we're good, we're on the plateau, we're okay. And then if something happens, we say, God, where were you? And God says, I was always with you.
Right.
You just didn't know that I was there. And the fall of man, you know, same thing happened. Jesus, a prime example.
Yeah.
Humanity was fallen. We needed a tragedy to happen, the death of Jesus, in order for us to be redeemed back to God.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same way. I'm not saying that we warranted the attack, but the point I'm trying to make is that when something like that happens, all of America was united together.
Yes.
I'll say
Exactly.
something very controversial, and I'm not saying this as I wish this. This isn't a Mike wish list, but just in complimentary of what Elijah was saying. America is not going to unite again unless another tragedy happens.
Yeah.
It's going to take something horrific, not another school shooting, nothing like that, another white on black tragedy. It's going to take something god awful from another country coming into here and defacing us in some way that we're all going to look at each other and go, you know what? I'm not as mad at you as I think I am, but I'm mad at that SOB.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's the thing. We it's like we always find something to complain about because it's like people thrive on that.
Yep.
And that's the sad thing. So we have, you know, everything right now. Look at the stupid petty things that are happening all over the media right now.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a stinking flash in the pan of stuff that's just like is nonsensical. Like, what's the point of that, really?
Absolutely.
It's just because we have nothing better to do.
And it gets amplified on social media.
It gets amplified, which is horrible. And I know we're going to the break in like 2 minutes, but you know, by the way, I saw that flag. You should put that over there on Mel's side, so that way when it comes on the camera, it's a Bills flag, and we know that Mel is a Broncos fan.
We're going to do that. You know what?
Yeah.
Next week, don't be surprised that's hanging behind you.
Oh, you can hang it, but I'm not showing my camera.
Well, that's a way to keep them off camera.
I will change the position of the camera.
Well, you know,
That's awesome. Hey, let's roll into our break.
Yeah.
And then from there, we will come back, and we got some other things we want to
We
talk
do
about.
have a couple things.
But we do want to honor those
Let us
who
know
served
when you're ready
on
then, Mel.
9/11 and
Yeah.
remember the lives that are lost.
Yeah, amen. Here on the Ken and Mike Show, we not only love building relationships, but strive to be honest and integral in all we do. Thankfully, this is the same philosophy held by our friends at Tri-Oak Builders.
Tri-Oak Builders, who are right here in the Upper Hudson Valley, are a family-owned company that puts these values to work in everything they do. From custom bathroom builds and renovations to kitchen and tiles, they've got you covered, and all at a fair market value.
So, if you're like us and like doing business with companies that want to provide the best service possible for their customers at an affordable price, then you need to call the builders you can trust. Tri-Oak Builders.
Call them today for a free estimate at 518-267-3288. That's 518-267-3288. You can also check them out online at trioakbuilders.com.
Tri-Oak Builders.
Where building relationships matter.
And they do matter.
They do matter.
And speaking
Our
of
relationship matters, Ken.
it does.
It does matter.
We're talking, actually, tonight we are talking about relationships.
Yes.
9/11 kind of brought relationships together.
And ultimately, the
Yeah.
end point of this show is hopefully something we say or do here on the show ends up with you, the listener, the viewer, having a relationship with Jesus Christ.
That's right.
That is
And us.
Yeah. We'd love to have a relationship with you.
Which, by the way, Mo, good point.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
I want to mention Greg. Greg, if you're watching
Yeah.
real quick, he says, I want a mug, Skipper. If you guys don't know, Skipper was
I responded to him.
was my nickname in high school or grade school. I made sure they changed it in high school. I got tired of being called Skip. But anyway,
We are doing mugs. We're coffee mugs. So.
we're going to do mugs. And
Once we have them made, what are we gonna do? We're gonna draw names. We're gonna put some
we're
quizzes up
going
there.
to come up with something. But ultimately,
quiz people.
you, the viewer, are going to have to choose if you want Ken's mug or my mug on your mug. And
Yeah. Are you
And-
hot? What is it?
hot with
with
Ken,
Ken.
Are you-
or full with Mike. But we're going to do that.
Don't be shy.
In conjunction with doing that, it's going to give Ken and I a chance to rib one another to see who's winning in the who's wanted more
That's right.
category.
That's right.
Right now, you're
So-
tied.
Yeah, right now we're only tied. Oh, wait, no. Greg says he wants one Skipper. So does that
Monica
mean he
says,
wants
I don't
mine?
care just as long as there's coffee in it.
Yeah,
and
she
I
said
told her
there's
my
coffee.
coffee will be in it, so don't worry.
Is your coffee light and sweet?
Whatever she needs.
Okay.
Coffee, Mike.
No, I'm just
Goodness
like,
gracious.
wow.
This is a Christian
Why are you
program.
assuming things?
I assume a lot of things about you, okay?
You know what they say about this when you assume?
Assumptions?
Yes. You know what they say about assumptions?
What do they say?
I'm not saying it on the air, but you know what they
You
say
and
about
I.
assumptions?
You and I.
Yes. So anyway,
Hey,
back to the Ken and Mike show.
back
Hey,
to the Ken and Mike show. Yeah.
you were going to say something? Sorry, I cut you
No.
off.
I think I was going to say. Oh, I did want to mention. I talked to a good buddy a mutual friend of ours. Yeah, we talked, and somebody else who's coming on our show too here, or at least chatting with us.
I
Maureen.
want a mug, a Ken one. Uh-oh.
You got it.
So now we're 2-2.
Keep spreading the word, Sue.
2-2. John wants one of both of us.
Yeah.
Greg wants one, I'm assuming, of Meeks. He said Skipper, and now Sue wants one of yours. So it looks like it's 2-2.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
All right.
are you keeping
All
a
right.
tally over there?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, because Mana said she wanted two.
yeah.
So
All right,
I'm
so it's
assuming
really
she
3 to
wanted-
so it's
She
really
probably
3
wants
to 3.
both. Okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming she wants one of each.
But
Okay.
but you know, you guys can say you want one of each, but we're gonna force you to choose. If you win one, you're gonna have to choose.
If
Yeah.
you win one, you have to choose. If
No
you want
pressure.
to buy one,
If you want to
can
purchase
buy
one,
whatever one you
Yeah,
want.
right?
Yeah.
So the giveaway is you have to prove that you you watch or listen to the Ken and Mike
What is
show.
it? Full of Mike. What is it again?
Full of Mike.
What is it again?
Full with Mike.
Full with
with
Mike
Mike.
or
Hot with Ken.
hot with Ken. So here's the thing: full with Mike. Do you want Mike in your coffee? No. Or do you want?
I'm sweeter than you.
Or do you want nice hot coffee? My mug will bring you that.
Oh, Maureen is up
yeah.
now on Ken. Oh man!
Thank you.
Wow.
Mo.
All right. So if they're come on, I got to get my friends on here, guys. Start your watch parties right now.
But Maureen, you'd be happy.
and you're
yeah.
gonna want you're gonna be full with Mike.
You
now.
know, it's
Come on.
it's very interesting is that the people that Mike knows obviously want Mike. People that Ken knows obviously wants Ken.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the question is,
How many
how
friends
many
do I
more
have?
people?
My
or
Guatemalan
family
friends.
members-
they don't understand. We're not speaking in Spanish on here, and don't even try it.
But you know he can.
amigos
As
de
Maureen
Guatemala.
said, por favor.
Yeah. So Maureen, so you'd be happy about this too. I believe we're going to be able to have Ted wants to come on. and talk a little bit. And he has a lot of knowledge.
Brian and Kayla want one too, Ken.
Brian and Kayla.
Brian and Kayla want one too.
Oh,
okay.
no. And they're going to be Ken's?
Yeah, it's Ken's,
I'm
it's
quickly
Ken's family.
yeah, I know.
Ken,
That's
It's
not my
only
family.
Ken's
I don't know who
family.
these people are. I don't know what you guys are talking about. They're just people that want my mug. I don't know.
It's like when they hire the people at a high school to sell silverware because they know they're all going to get your friends and your family, and
Yeah.
that's how they do it. So Ken's only going to sell his cups and mugs to friends and family here.
Which is funny because you
And
said
he
you
just-
wanted to buy one.
He doesn't get the friends and family special. Okay, no discounts.
Yes,
So,
I do.
Ken-
Yes, I do.
In this lightheartedness.
But Ted Flint's wants to come on, so
Oh,
maybe
does he?
next.
are we
going to
make him choose?
Oh, he's already chosen. I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah, because he doesn't know me,
Yeah.
so he
well,
wants mine.
Well, I'm going to talk to him on the phone before the show and just explain to him that there's a Ken mug if he wants one.
Oh my goodness, this is
And then I'll
awful.
say, "Oh, there's a Mike one too." But what do you want?
Oh
Ted?
man,
Then he'll feel bad.
I see there's comments here, so I go. Man, we're just getting off on a tangent here. That's all right. Wow, would be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Joe Chiaro coffee. Oh, the heat. We're gonna feel the heat on Ken. aren't
Monica, I'll hook you up.
we? I bet you
Just
will.
get my mug.
I like to try to get Black Rifle coffee in these coffees.
So
if
I
you
also
are
wanna say,
listening,
if
Black
you-
Rifle Coffee.
If you choose a Mike mug, see, I have a little bit of power here that you don't have.
Oh.
I can make you a T-shirt.
Okay. Do you want a T-shirt with Mike's mug on it?
No.
you don't.
Mine will be customized. Just the Ken and Mike show.
Okay.
And on the back, I'll say I chose Mike.
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
say hashtag full with Mike.
Full with Mike. That's awesome. That's
He has a
awesome.
very big family, Mike. I do too, but unfortunately, my family is not of the Christian persuasion. So
I'm going to get to your family too.
they have
become my family.
They choose not to watch the Ken and Mike show for obviously because I have a political bent that doesn't agree with theirs. So I'm sure they won't be ordering my mug.
Okay. What does your zodiac say?
So
They might.
Oh yeah, well, if we go down that road, we
Oh,
might get
let me
it.
finish. So yeah, Maureen, that'd be awesome. Next Thursday, I think, possibly next Thursday, we'll have Ted on because it'd just be great. It'd be great to hear his voice. He is, by the way, those are you're listening. He is the voice of our bumper music.
Yes, he
Not our
is.
commercial. That's me and Mike, but our bumper music is Ted.
Yeah,
He's the
so-
man. Yeah.
And now, Ken and Mike, that voice that you hear
Yeah.
is not ours.
That's Ted Flint.
It's not Mel. It's Ted.
Incredible talk show host.
I got to meet Ted. I still haven't
Yeah.
met Ted,
And voiceover.
but yet he's
Yeah.
done the
Yep.
voiceover for the Ken
Yep.
and Mike show, and I've never met him.
Yep.
So it's awesome.
I don't think he's a Bills fan now. I think he's
Oh, what is he?
Packers. I think.
Is he the Packer? I think he is the Packers.
I think a
isn't he?
Packers. He's a
Ah.
Yankees
Yeah.
fan. I think he's
Yeah.
a Packers fan.
We've persuaded Sue. Thank you, Sue. She's getting one of me too. The ticker's starting to come
Oh,
over.
you had to do the family thing. It's not my fault that you couldn't convince your family to become Republican.
So next thing I'm gonna, if I think we're gonna do a telethon. Feel bad for Mike.
Oh boy!
I think it's still 3-5.
Don't give him any self pity.
Within the next 5 minutes, if you call in right now. All right, we're getting off on a tangent.
That's
here.
all right though. We like doing that. But we are those who are just tuning in. We've been talking about 9/11 and kind of where
Yes.
we were. If you want to comment on here your
Yeah,
experience,
call
of
in. I mean,
how
I don't know.
you felt
I don't know
on
if we have the
9/11.
number up
Yeah.
tonight, but this show is not
Yeah.
about us just
Yeah.
sitting here talking. It's about you guys participating.
Yeah.
Call in. Where were you on 9/11?
Yeah, where were you?
How,
How
did
did you
it, How
feel?
did it impact you? How did you feel? And we'll get back to that topic when we get callers or people who call in now for our next topic.
If we see a comment as well, so.
Right. Or if you want to talk about mugs and how much you want mics.
Yeah, or don't.
So, Ken,
Yes.
have you read your horoscope today?
Let me get right to it. I do have it here, Mike. It's very important to me. I read it every day, actually. Where did it go? Here we go. I'm a Virgo, by the way.
You're a
Virgo.
Oh, Virgo.
I was born September 21st,
That-
1981.
That makes you a Virgo?
Apparently, I don't know. I don't know anything about this, but I think this is right telling of this is the September 12th.
Father, forgive us, for we know not what we do.
Let's see what this says. By the way, we don't practice stuff, but we want to kind of go out on a limb and see what this says about me.
Yeah, let's do it.
Here
Let's
we
do
go.
it.
Here's
Okay.
today's horoscope for me. The introverted Virgo, okay, I guess I can be sometimes, is very hard to catch, quote unquote. Those born under the Virgo zodiac are so reserved that it's hard to even get to know them. I can be, but I think you know me pretty well,
That
right?
sounds more like me.
Yeah, much less win their hearts. The worst part is, the more interested they are in you, the shyer they will be in your presence. That is why you won't see Virgos getting attached in a hurry. Virgos are clever, pragmatic, and creative people who know to make their intelligence work for them. Many scientists and mathematicians are born as Virgos. Yeah, I'd like science. I hate math. They are also cautious and do not rush into premature decisions. Some of this, I guess, is true, but this could be true for anybody. Virgos can also be incredibly self-conscious. Their obsession with tidiness sometimes turns them into naggers and nitpickers. Okay, I guess I can be like that.
We might start believing in the zodiac here.
Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen to me today, though? Oh, hey, Mother Teresa, Michael Jackson, D.H. Lawrence. Okay, that's enough. Stephen King. All right. Anyway, that's today.
All right, I'm gonna do this too.
Green, dark brown.
I
Favorite
don't,
color?
I don't get into this stuff.
Yeah.
So I won't go into the detail you do. I'll just read what showed up real quick on.
Why is there a girl on there?
Well, that explains why.
Stop it.
What is Cancer? Ready? Let's see.
That's a disease.
Hey, 1 second. Hey, Greg. We a little while ago we did talk about. Oh, you did. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. He's got it already. Thank you, Mr. Producer.
Ah, okay. The personality of the crustacean.
You're a little crabby.
A little crusty, huh? Of the crustacean is difficult to describe. Defensive at apparently illogical times.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Cancer is still one of the most loving, open zodiac signs. The innate crabby tendency at unpredictable moment only adds to the fun. Cancer is a receptive and highly sensitive sign, capable of huge empathy. Okay, I'm not going into any more of this stuff.
Cool.
Sure, great, whatever.
How do you feel, buddy?
I need a hug.
Anyway, keep going with the Ken mug. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
So,
A Marine says she's the archer,
The Archer.
but she believes in biblical astronomy.
okay, well, see,
that's cool.
this is where we're going to go down.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, and then we'll discuss it.
Okay.
Full disclosure, I don't buy into any of that crap.
Whoa, that's a big word.
Are referring
Any
to
of it.
horoscopes?
Yeah, the zodiac, horoscope, the horoscope stuff.
The horoscope stuff. Right?
Like we started talking about in the before off the air.
Yeah.
God biblically put the stars there as signs for. Even the scripture alludes to even certain constellations that are represented.
Yeah, Revelation has it.
In the stars and stuff like that. So I'm going to make 2 brief points on it, and we can leave it there.
Okay.
My first point is the basic understanding that I have of Scripture is God put them there as signs. Okay, the signs in terms of not to navigate your life, but to navigate the globe. Okay, a lot of times where we'll even talk about the wise men following the star. For centuries, naval operators have used the stars for navigational beacons. God put those there for certain reasons to signify certain things, but also to help men navigate globally, not navigate their lives. And God, the Bible even talks about how God has numbered each and every one of the stars. God has named each and every one of the stars. Okay, so that points to a creator. That points to a God. Why would I look to the stars to navigate my life, to tell me things about me? In essence, when you look at something so deeply and you run your life by it, it's a form of worship. It all comes back to that thing I always say. Why do you worship the creation and not the creator? When it gets to the point where I'm living my life by what the Sunday newspaper says, how my week is going to go, and not opening up the scripture and find out how God tells me my life is going to go, then thinking things are askew, and I'm worshiping, like I said, the creation and not the creator. And I have a big problem with that, because then you get into mysticism, and the scripture talks about mysticism when you start talking about sorcery and stuff like that.
A divination.
all that stuff is linked. And that's when I say, when you start pulling that stuff out, I walk away and I'm messing with something I don't want to play with. Because there is power. Don't get me wrong. There is power in forces that we don't see unrelated to God that's out there. The Bible talks about we warfare with things that are spiritual that are out there. And I'm not saying there isn't some mysticism and even some truth to some of this stuff, because I don't get into it. But I still don't understand or have a grasp of everything that's in Scripture. Mm-hmm. So why do I want to play with something that's outside of Scripture or even try and dive into that? Let me look to the Creator and not His creation.
Yeah, it's very interesting you were saying that. I was thinking about the horoscopes, which I never really believed in, but some person wrote them in some newspaper. Let's get 3 different newspapers. They're going to say the same thing or different thing. Like, where's the source coming from for that information? And to know, wow, today this says that I'm going to meet a person in orange, just say, or a person in a red dress, or I'm going to get a job, or something's going to happen. Like, how are they all the same? How, like, where's that source coming from?
Right.
And it's just one of those things where, okay, we don't believe the Bible because it's penned by man, but we want to believe horoscopes.
Maureen made a great point here.
Yeah.
No, right before you say that, I do want to say something really quick, and that's because what you just said. You said the source is important, right? And like you said, I want to get to her point. The thing is, though, it's like if a Jehovah's Witness comes to your door, okay, and I'm not trying to knock anybody personally, but in that case, what they do is they don't hand you a Bible. They read a couple scriptures, but you know what they hand you?
Yeah, the Watchtower.
The Watchtower.
Yeah.
So you know what happens if you argue scripture? I actually read this really good book. Actually,
Mormons do it as well.
And Chris actually uses it in his class now. It's I actually found this. It's Winning the Witnesses, and basically what happens is that when you argue scripture with them, they're just going to back off. Because they're taking orders from somebody else, not from God, from the Watchtower. Right. So the thing that you do is you say, hey, by the way, why are you handing me this Watchtower thing? Do you know who they are?
Great point, Greg.
And the thing is like, okay, do you know who you're handing me this? Why wouldn't you want to hand me a Bible? Because we both believe in the same God, right? So you're handing me this, but who's their authority, and where are they getting their information from?
Right.
So you keep going back to the Watchtower to make them question, like, who's the Watchtower? Why am I taking anything from them? This source that I'm talking about, our source is Jesus.
Well, you flip it on the backside, it tells you exactly who the source is from.
Right.
Yes.
Joseph Smith.
Exactly, and that on that aspect too. Yes, so that's why it's imperative that we do know the source and where it comes from.
I want to touch on Maureen, because Maureen, I was going to bring up that exact point that you were saying. See that Maureen says we blew right past it. What did Maureen say?
Watch the stars.
Maureen said, "Watch the stars of Bethlehem." You'll see that. No, she was talking about in Genesis, and that's what I was going to talk about. Anyway, I'll just read what I wrote in Genesis. But she makes the same point. The Bible says the stars, along with the sun and moon, were given for signs and seasons. Genesis 1:14. That is, they were meant to mark time for us. They are also signs in the sense of, like I was saying earlier, navigational indicators. And all through history, men have used the stars to chart their courses around the globe. God uses the stars as an illustration of his promise to give Abraham an innumerable seed, Genesis 15:5. Thus, every time Abraham looked up at the night sky, he had a reminder of God's faithfulness and goodness. The final judgment of the earth will be accompanied by astronomical events relating to stars. You can see Isaiah, Joel, and Matthew. Mm-hmm. Astrology is the interpretation of an assumed influence the stars and planets exert on human destiny. This is a false belief. The royal astrologers of the Babylonian court were put to shame by God's prophet Daniel, in Daniel 1:20, and were powerless to interpret the king's dream. Daniel 2:27, if you guys remember. God specifies astrologers are among those who will be burned as stubble in God's judgment. So, I mean, astrology.
Astronomy, yeah.
It's not something I wanna mess with. I'll worship the guy who created this stuff. If you want to worship his creation, and it goes back to those who are worshiping, putting all this emphasis on the planet. And I'm not saying we shouldn't take care of the planet, but they're propping up the planet as something that needs to be worshipped. Yeah. We put more value on whales.
One of our very first shows, we actually remember that we had somebody come on there because we were talking about, and she was very into when I hug a tree and how I feel when I'm touching that nature and all these kinds of things, and
being one with nature.
Yeah, and you know what? That's great. I'm glad you can appreciate that stuff. Like if I went somewhere and I saw this, like when I was in Myanmar, they have these huge trees that the British actually planted at the time. They're huge mahogany trees. Like, you don't see them around here. They're huge. They're old. It's like, wow, that's awesome. Walk away. That's it.
Worship
That's
the creator, not the creation.
And so I think the thing is, like what you're saying too, is like, again, it's back to the source. Because I took an astronomy class, I think a semester ago or something like that in school. It was awesome, but it didn't make me go like, oh my gosh, I really want to try to. I just thought like, oh wow, cool. They made up names for them, some of the people back in the day, and they came up with these really cool God things. I can see why they would do that, because they didn't necessarily believe in him, and they needed a way to kind of like visually see them, or they did believe in him, and when they wanted to follow something like they did for travel, it was their GPS.
Right.
Yeah, pyramids were built by the stars.
Right. And they're amazing. If you go back to the Great Pyramid,
Some argue Stonehenge was too.
Yeah.
Yes, right, and that's back and forth because it goes debunked and they go back. But the thing is, though, is because they did use that stuff in an incredible way to do things like that. Now, there was some tricky, weird kind of mysticism stuff that happened back at those times, for sure. But they didn't know a whole lot either. But Maureen also said we can look back with astronomy software and kind of see what's happening kind of up there. Was that what she said?
See what happened, what was happening up there at the time. Like at the time of Jesus, we could see.
Well, let me tell you where this topic came from. Is you see people that that claim to be Christian.
Yeah.
Okay. We are a social media avenue here at the Ken and Mike Show. So obviously we use social media.
Sure.
Not saying you need to guide your life by social media and spend your life on Facebook and all that stuff. But I was looking through a news feed, and I'm watching people that I'm seeing on my news feed that are professed Christians, and they're posting up horoscopes.
Yeah.
Or they're saying, "Oh, look at this guy. Well, he must be this zodiac sign because he does this and relates to this." And it's like, you really put stock in that? You really believe that? So I challenged it. I made a post one day. I said, something along the lines of, let's look to God for our answers and not the stars. Let's look to the one who created the stars and not the stars themselves. And then somebody said, well, the wise men all use the stars. Don't you think that God put signs in the stars, and that the stars were telling, and God puts messages in the stars and all that stuff? I was like, my God, it's not that cryptic, but if that's what you want to be into.
Well, it's different between guiding them and something written down that we can see and go
God
to.
puts all these signs in the stars. You don't believe that? No. I mean,
it's called navigation.
Yeah. And I'm going to finish up my point with something I found online. Really good quote. I wish I could claim it, but I thought it was really, really well stated. The stars should awaken wonder at God's power, wisdom, and infinitude. We should use the stars to keep track of time and place to remind us of God's faithful covenant-keeping nature. All the while, we acknowledge the creator of the heavens. Our wisdom comes from God and not the stars. James 1:5. The Word of God, the Bible, is our guide through life, not these stars.
Interesting.
And I just thought that was
it is interesting. We are getting almost towards the end, but before we do, a couple things. Number one, we want to make sure and mention that if you want a Ken mug, you can get one. You can win one.
You want to be full with Mike.
Yeah. No, anyway, if you want a Ken mug,
full
you can
with
get one.
Mike.
Let me know. We are making Ken mugs available to anyone who wants one. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say about the
full
mugs.
With Mike. Full with Mike.
And we also wanted to say that those who have joined right now, we were talking earlier about 9/11, where you were, how it impacted you. We talked about it personally, where we were, what we were feeling, what we were thinking. If you want to,
when we say what never forget what we weren't forgetting,
what we weren't forgetting,
and what we need to remember.
And please, if you want to join the conversation, you can either call or you can also, of course, on the chat. Please let us know, where were you? What were your feelings, and how do you feel now compared to then, and etc.
Right. Not getting into the political part of it. Not getting into what roles and all that stuff.
Yeah, just naturally.
What came out of 9/11 and what I'm not going to forget.
Yeah.
And
do you have a couple of facts you want to share tonight?
Did you have a news story?
I have a couple things.
You have a news story? We can run a little bit here.
Okay,
You have
Why don't we? We're going to get to
We're going to stay on a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll let Ken do his
It's going to be a little different
stories.
tonight. It's going to be some.
Yes, I did have a couple stupid facts that I want to bring up. One that I think you'll thoroughly enjoy.
Okay. Okay.
So why don't you give us your...
You let us know when you want to roll with that. And we're ready when you are, Mel.
Go ahead.
Let us know. Oh, it is news time and facts with Ken and Mike. We are so glad you tuned in tonight on the Ken and Mike show. We have some breaking news. Short-sightedness, unable to focus, and blind to reality. How long you been a Democrat? Okay. Sorry.
Wow, that was cheap.
And who said this, okay? Before my presidency, there was no ISIS, there was no caliphate, there was no BLM, there was no Antifa, there was no war on police. I built that. It's just a thing on Barack Obama. Get that off there. Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones comes to the United States and pays
Notice
for...
I'm saying nothing.
Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones comes to the United States and pays for heart valve replacement surgery instead of using England's socialized health care. He then goes on tour attacking the president of the U.S. and lecturing about how we all need socialistic and socialist healthcare.
Hold up.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
He came here, paid for a medical service
heart valve replacement surgery.
here in America.
Yes.
Then
He's from England.
Then, well, we know that. Then he criticized our healthcare system,
Yep.
stating that we
Can't
need to
hear you.
have one like he's not using.
You got it.
Okay.
Yes. You got it.
I want
Hey.
to make sure I had that clear.
We got a ding.
It's just like Democrats when they say you can't have guns, but our security officers can have guns.
Yeah, how this guy,
Looking
looking at him, how he's still alive. Okay. That's a good story. We can tell that later. So, listen, I do want to go through a really quick thing about something here. And the headline, as soon as it pops up here, are you ready? It goes like this. Obama claimed his team never made mistakes of integrity. Here's a few he forgot.
Oh, boy.
Okay, no, I'm not going to go through all of it, but I wish I could talk like him because I would do it. You know, it's the right thing to do. Okay, so the nature of
That
things.
wasn't terrible.
No, it wasn't terrible.
That wasn't terrible.
The nature of shut up. The nature of things that wind up on your desk are by definition things that other people find unsolvable. For all the mistakes we made, we didn't make mistakes of integrity, and I'm proud of that. We left office without a scandal. That's his quote.
Without a scandal?
Yeah.
Benghazi?
I'm just okay. Let me don't take the words out of my mouth, PJ. Let me tell you something. Okay, we got Benghazi. You nailed it. I won't go through the whole thing. So we got Benghazi. Operation Fast and Furious. You guys remember that? Eric Holder?
That's the one I was trying to think
Yeah.
of. Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious.
Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton's runaway meeting.
The tarmac meeting?
Bo Bergdahl. That's
Do you guys
up
remember
and down.
Do you guys remember the beer summit?
Not necessarily.
In
No.
the very beginning of his presidency? All right, well, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
PolitiFact's Lie of the Year. In 2013, the fact-checking outlet PolitiFact awarded Obama with the Lie of the Year throughout his campaign for the Affordable Care Act. I mean, we can keep going, but I'll just stop right there. You remember what he said? Every time it would change, it'd go back, it would go
What about
forward.
shovel-ready jobs?
Shovel-ready jobs.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry. This isn't an attack Obama thing because I could.
Oh, for me it is.
Okay.
Worse, it's actually a good mutual friend of ours. Actually, you can see it on Facebook between our chats. He said, worst presidency of our time. Of our time.
I will say this thing. I will say this. He did finally unseat Jimmy Carter as the worst president of the United States.
Quick.
He took the trophy.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
I've never openly criticized and said he is the worst president. I just said it there. My apologies, but yeah, he was worse than Jimmy
For
Carter.
all you Office fans, he took the Dundee Award.
We have been talking about 9/11. We told some really great stories in the beginning. Let's see. Oh wow! So my grandfather was on a plane that morning at 9/11. Thank you for that. I don't know if I remember that. That's crazy. I did not know that.
Wow.
I could imagine what was going through his mind at the time. Oh my, that's crazy. On a note that has nothing to do with 9/11, but it's a really cool story. This is actually not funny, but it says, "Did you know this young boy, Joshua Lutz, a 15-year-old boy named not Joshua Lutz, sorry, that's I think that guy who posted it. A 15-year-old boy named Tamar Boggs chased a car on his bike for 15 minutes.
Oh, I read about this a couple of years ago. Yeah.
To save a 5-year-old girl who was kidnapped from her front yard, and guess what? He was successful.
Yeah, and
That's
I think
a cool
another
story.
fact there you need to bring up too.
Yeah, that she was white and he was black.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool too. He's just a young boy. He didn't care. He saw a young girl for 15 minutes he chased.
But we will propagate this or puff up the stories that create racial divide as opposed to something like that just has
Exactly.
nothing.
Or
To
like
do.
this video that
yeah.
they're showing now with the two young boys hugging. One's black, one's white. They're making a big stink about it.
Why?
We do
like,
that all
what?
the time. I
What?
don't. I hug. I don't understand. We have brothers and sisters in our church all the time, or that we know.
Now, I'll hug you right on here on the air if that makes sense.
What I'm saying is, there's
You
two
know,
little kids. They're like a year
Please
old. It's like
Yeah.
really, like you can't just like you have to make a stink about anything.
Yeah.
Find that thing to complain about.
Look at this. So you have some facts.
Yes, I have some stupid facts. I'm going to wrap up on my list here. Looks like we're never going to get to my other topic that I wanted to talk about today, Christians who hate Trump.
Oh, did we talk about that though? Did we talk? Oh, we didn't.
No.
Specifically.
This was a specific topic I wanted to bring up tonight, but
Next week we can have that as a topic.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll
so-
we'll let you do that, Mike.
you'll let me do
Yeah.
that? I have your approval. Okay.
Facts.
You have 15 minutes though.
All right. I have 4 facts for you tonight.
Okay.
One, I know Kenny is going to just, stand right up for.
I'm gonna put covered in
Yes.
rainbow flags and
Yes. No, my number 1 fact tonight
Okay.
is hunting unicorns is legal in Michigan.
Wait,
Hunting unicorns.
Hunting unicorns is legal in Michigan.
how do you get a license for that?
Well, Lake Superior
Got to
State
find one first.
Lake Superior State University in Michigan offers a unicorn hunting license. Unsurprisingly, the chief herald of the unicorn hunters was once quoted as saying, "The pursuit of the unicorn is a lonely quest. We wish them nothing but good luck."
There probably really is somebody out there
Oh, you know what it reminds
hunting
me
a
of?
unicorn.
There's a Key
Just
and
like
Peele
Bigfoot.
skit. There's a Key
Yeah.
and Peele skit where there's a reporter. He's like, nothing going on here. He's like, what to do? He's like, watch this. This is how you do it. He goes on and says, hey, can you tell me if you've seen the unicorn? Or no, Pegasus. Sorry, it's Pegasus. Yeah, I've seen the Pegasus. Everybody starts jumping on the bandwagon Pegasus. They're making T-shirts. They got flags.
Yes, I've
they got
seen
banners.
that. Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah.
jumping on the Pegasus
You know what? We're going to
bandwagon.
go out with our camera one day at the Ken and Mike
Yeah,
show.
we are, yeah.
We are out here, and we're just talking, and we'll just make up a topic and see what people go with.
We saw the Bigfoot. We saw him.
Yes.
We want to know if you did too. This is what he looks like. We'll show a picture of a gorilla man. Something.
No,
They'll go with
say
it.
something. Did you see that guy that came out of the store that had 3 eyes?
Phew. Yeah.
You saw him. I was just
Yeah.
talking about it.
Did
like
you
that.
hear about what the president did again?
Oh my God! Yeah,
What did he do?
They'll make up a lot.
Oh,
of
you
man.
know.
You
Yesterday
gotta
at
tell
5
me.
o'clock. Remember?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, what-
Yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah, he's an idiot, man. I know, right? Why do you think he's an idiot? Just because of what he's doing. What's he doing? You know. That kind. He's just doing stuff,
And the
man.
sad thing is, we joke, but that is the reality of our
We've
culture.
seen those videos. The Blaze TV does a great job of going out
Yeah.
in the streets and doing stuff like that.
All right. Fact number 2.
Okay.
There is an official ruling for how many Tootsie Pop licks it takes to get to the center.
Yes.
People still doing this?
Remember? You remember the old commercial with the owl?
Yeah,
How
I
many
just
licks
saw
it-
one the other day.
1,
305.
2, crunch. No, it officially takes 364 licks to get to the center of a
300, wow.
That's almost one for
Tootsie
each day.
Pop.
I was close, sir, than most. I'm sure.
Well, at least according to the engineering students at the scientific endeavor at Purdue University, who used a proprietary licking machine rather than a human tongue.
Was this during the time where they needed a safe space? They had nothing else to do.
I just want to know what else that licking.
The coloring books ran out, so they were like, "Get the Tootsie Pops now. We're getting this thing done."
I just want to know what this licking machine is and what else it can be used for.
I don't know what they used. What they used? Sandpaper?
I don't know. Where's his mind at right now?
I don't know.
See, I just say things like that just to see where your mind goes.
Last week I said golden tips, and you're off the wall.
Hey, I wasn't the only one who's off the wall. Okay, in that vein,
Okay.
did you know
Yes.
that flowers like Viagra?
Wait, what?
No, I didn't.
They
know.
Flowers.
They like Viagra?
Flowers like Viagra.
Was a naturalist talking to one?
Here's a funny fact. If you put some Viagra in a vase, it'll make the flowers stand up straight for a week beyond when they would normally wilt. According to one study conducted by an Israeli and
where my mind is
Australian
going right
researchers.
now?
That's what I told you. This is something you'd really stand up for.
Oh, no, pun intended there, right?
Pun intended.
Oh my gosh. those who are listening, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, Ken Mike. Mug. Ken Mike. No,
See,
Ken
I got him
Mug.
flustered just by talking about Viagra.
Yeah.
I heard if you choke on one of those, you get a stiff neck.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, where's the button? Not the bleep, just the burr, burr. Oh. We like to have fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's an American town with a population of 1. Did you know that?
Obama's Island, what?
I'm gonna murder this name. Monowai, Nebraska.
Wow.
It's the only town in the United States which with an official population of 1 person.
You can change the name to Anawai.
Yes. And here's the sad thing. She owes taxes to herself. She's in her 80s, and she's employed as the village's mayor, librarian, bartender, and tax collector.
Is this for real? How is she alive? Like, what does she do for a living? Like, what does she actually do?
I don't know how. Well, that's what she says. She's employed as the village's mayor, librarian, bartender, and tax collector.
Awesome.
What about mailman, police officer?
Yeah. It's a police state.
It's 1 So it's 1 town. So those are my stupid facts for tonight.
Thank you, Mike.
Hey, listen, look, I actually have a family member that's watching right now. So I might have one person that wants the mic
we want
mug.
to know, Melissa, if you want a mug, there's a Ken mug, and it's yours. It's yours. You don't even have to do anything.
See, she just tuned in late, but here on the Ken and Mike,
Anyway, so Melissa,
here on the Ken and Mike
if you
show,
want, if you want a mug, something's going on there.
here on the Ken and Mike show, we're having a little fun competition because we're going to be releasing Ken and Mike show mugs. On Ken's mug is going to be Ken's mug, and on Mike's mug is going to be Mike's mug, and we're asking the viewers and the listeners which mug they want, because when they choose to buy a mug or win a mug, they are forced to choose whose mug they want. So we're having a competition to see who's wanted more.
Yeah.
It's you're either hot with Ken,
Don't be shy.
or you're full with Mike here on the Ken and Mike show.
We thank you for participating.
Yes.
When those mugs come out, we'll have them right here. Of course, Mike will have a Ken mug, and I'll have a Ken mug. And then we'll be drinking out of those mugs. Is that right? Did you hear me? Yeah, I don't think you heard me.
No, I didn't. I didn't hear you.
Good.
I was reading. My wife was actually messaging me here while I'm doing the Ken and Mike show, so probably because she knows that I'm supposed to be off the air right now.
So listen, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, like you said, you'll see our little hashtag thing on there. Vote for which mug you'd like, and we're going to have a little competition soon and some questions that you can answer, and you can get a mug. And we're going to be having those pretty soon, right?
Yes.
Talk to your guy.
Yes.
Also, by the way, this show has been brought to us by...
Hey, listen, we're going to advertise, right now being brought to us by Tri-Oak Builders.
Yes.
But I'm going to give an opportunity also with these mugs to advertise the guy who's making these mugs. So if we don't get these mugs anytime soon, that we might also have to blow him up here on the Ken and Mike show and blow his spot up. So if you, it's a company out of Albany. I won't mention his name this week on the show, but if I don't hear back about those mugs, Mr. Pratt.
Hey, and by the way, if you want to come alongside the Ken and Mike show and you want to promote your business, we'd love to partner with you. So,
here on the Ken and Mike show, we also have an opening here. At
We
Ken
do.
and Mike show. We need
Media,
someone to help us
social
with
media.
To help us with media. You want to come alongside? You're available on Thursday nights and even during the week. Not here in the studio, but obviously we want you here in the studio on Thursdays. Yeah. But there's an opportunity here for somebody who wants to learn the media aspect of the Ken and Mike show.
Yeah.
So share us on Facebook. Share us, like us on Twitter, like us on YouTube.
Subscribe.
I said the wrong word before, but it's chat.
Castbox. Get the Castbox app. Listen to some of our prior episodes, which we have to update all that stuff, which we will. We need a social person. We need somebody to help in the producing background for sure.
Yes, as well. So tune in next week.
Yeah, Thursday. It's our new time, our new day. Excuse me.
New
same
day,
time,
same time,
different day. Thursdays now.
And maybe next week we'll talk about Christians who hate Trump.
I think that'd be good. And it'd be good to have Ted on. Guys, see you. God bless you guys. Ken and Mike show, Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Right?
Yeah, what he said.
God bless.
See you next week.